What is the biggest strength of the one-handed backhand? And if you saw my other videos about the one-handed backhand, you know that I think that one-handed backhand will go away. And I don't know if you want to see those videos if you do have a one-handed backhand yourself. I got a lot of dislikes on those videos, a lot of people upset. But in this video, I'm going to show you the actual strength, what I think is the biggest strength of the one-handed backhand. And I think you'll want to see this. So let's check this out real quick here. And I want to show you Pete Sampras here and his one-handed backhand. So I thought about this a lot in regards to the biggest strength of the one-handed backhand versus the two-handed backhand. You could say it's the maneuverability. You could say that maybe you could hit better angles with it. Definitely you could have better reach with the one-handed backhand. You could maybe hit harder with the one-handed backhand. That's debatable, but maybe you could put more RPMs on it. You could put more MPH on it. Maybe you could hide the one-handed backhand a little bit better versus a two-handed backhand, right? You could maybe hit a one-handed backhand topspin and all of a sudden you hit a slice or vice versa. So there's that disguise. So there are these strengths with the one-handed backhand, but I think the biggest strength of the one-handed backhand is that it is easier to transition into net. And what does that mean? Easier to transition into net. Well, what that basically means is that it's easier to get into net because you don't have a two-handed backhand ground stroke or two-handed backhand approach shot or two-handed backhand volley. You don't have a two-handed backhand anything because you simply have a one-handed backhand, and you could use that one-handed backhand for that ground stroke, that approach shot, that volley, or that backhand overhead or anything. You don't have to think about having a two-handed backhand, and that makes it a little bit easier to get into net, and it allows Pete Sampras here to be a little bit more dynamic. Remember, he used to have a two-handed backhand as a junior, and later in his development, he switched to a one-handed backhand, and he had a tough time switching, right? But he got used to it, and obviously he got better. And it was a championship decision right there to change to a one-handed backhand. I think that allowed him to just be a great volleyer, and it suited his style. Obviously, he was a certain volleyer. And I don't think that if he had a two-handed backhand, I don't think he would win 14 slams. I think maybe he would be a good player, but not a legendary player. So this easy to transition into net is purely a mental thing. It's purely a tactical thing. It's a decision-making process, or the lack of making a decision to make a two-handed backhand anything, right? So when Pete Sampras hits this return, he's going to get this one-handed backhand approach here, or one-handed backhand ground stroke, and he doesn't have to think about two hands, right? And obviously here, this would be tough to get on two hands, but he has this half volley slice here on his backhand. Very good here, and obviously this one-handed backhand volley down the line made it look very easy to do for him, but that's actually a very hard shot. And so this dynamic play by Pete Sampras, I don't think he could do it with two hands or even have a thought process in regards to having a two-handed backhand anything, right? It just frees up his mind to just do one-handed everything. And that is not to say that, two-handed backhand players have bad volleys, right? There's a lot of good two-handed backhand players that have good volleys, but they'll never have a dynamic game like Pete Sampras here, right? You need that one-handed backhand for those volleys, definitely for those, low approach shots, anything that has to do with the net game. There's a lot of nuance with having a good net game. It's not just volleys, right? It's getting those low volleys and, anticipating well, getting that good reach and everything. There's a lot of subtleties there. And, just having that easy transition to net is a whole big part of Pete Sampras's game. And I think that is the biggest advantage of the one-handed backhand. So the big question now is, can you take advantage of the one-handed backhand and its biggest strength, the easy transition to go into net? And obviously, if you're a baseline grinder, you won't take advantage of that because you're looking to hit one-handed backhands near the back fence. But if you're a more offensive game type of player, then yes, you can. Think of Roger Federer, right? He was a baseliner, but he always looked to take the ball early. He would look to come into net. He would serve and volley here and there. So that would be a good person to copy. Obviously, Roger Federer is a once-in-a-lifetime type of player, but in these days, if you want to play against these players who have two-handed backhands, who could, hit the ball hard on that side, absorb the ball pretty good there, then you're going to have to develop a more offensive game style. And, I like the one-handed backhand. I know I made some videos in regards to how it's going to go away pretty soon, and I don't want that to happen. I want to see the one-handed backhand come back. I want to see certain volleyers come back. I want to see variety. I don't want to see baseline grinders for every tennis player out there, right? I want to see some variety out there. But, for the one-handed backhand, you have to approach it in that what is really a superlative strength in regards to the one-handed backhand. Yes, you can say it's the maneuverability. Maybe you could hit more RPMs. Maybe you could hit the ball harder with the one-handed backhand versus the two-handed backhand. But is that really something that is really major? Is that really something that is practical in a tennis match? Is really something that puts that stroke over the top versus a two-handed backhand? And I don't think so. But the easy transition into net, that is something that a two-handed backhand player can't match, right? So if you're looking to really use that one-handed backhand, I think you have to go that route. You have to be more of a net rusher and, pursue a style where you're just coming up to net more often than the two-handed backhand players. So, look into that and see what you can do with that one-handed backhand. And I think you'll be successful as long as you develop more of an offensive game style. If you enjoyed this video, kindly do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.